name's Chet Sharma, and we're here at BB Restaurant in the heart of Mayfair. It's a modern Indian restaurant, championing progressive cuisine, but also ingredients from the history of Indian food. Today we're going to be cooking two very, very seasonal dishes. So one is a smoked kohlrabi with a little bit of pineberry. Pineberry is a sort of distant cousin to the strawberry. Has all of the aroma, maybe a little bit less of the sweetness, and we serve that with a kind of Indian lemon ceviche. We take whole kohlrabis from our farmers down in Sussex, take the leaves off, and we use that actually for one of the oils we're going to make later as well. And then we hang it over the grill for actually about 2 days, so a very, very long time. So it almost turns into a kohlrabi raisin. Now, why that's important? Kohlrabi it's a very juicy, very watery vegetable, and we want to try and dehydrate as much of that out and then put lots of flavor back in on the other side. So we cook it, like I say, for anywhere up to sort of 2 days, and then we're left with this half shriveled cooked kohlrabi that we then peel down and we slice on a meat slicer, and then we end up with these little slices of kohlrabi. We've made sort of little hemispheres with them, and we're going to use this. It's a real labor of love. We can see it's taken on this extra liquid, which is the nimbu pani element of the dish. So the nimbu pani means lemon water or lemonade in India, and we use that here. We take some pine berries, a distant cousin of the strawberry, and slice them really nice and fine. So this is the part which is a bit of a labor of love in the assembly, but we really want to champion how beautiful vegetables can be, and of course they can be beautiful in their raw state, but also it's nice to give them a bit more attention to detail. So we take a piece of kohlrabi, a piece of pineberry, a piece of kohlrabi, you can guess next, another piece of pineberry, and we keep going until we have multiple layers of this. As you can probably imagine, we don't assemble these to order. Now, the most difficult part of this is to roll this up. And the nice thing about using the pine berries in between each layer is the sugars should help it stick together, which means when you turn it up, you get a nice tight rose there. We're going to take a little bit of an emulsion here, quite unusually made with egg whites rather than egg yolks, a little bit of juiced jalapeno and some lime as well, just to give some fattiness and richness to the dish. We then take some puffed quinoa, and I'm going to place that all around, some on top, some on the side. So this is just cooked quinoa that we then dehydrate and then deep fry at a very, very high temperature and dress in something called a chaat masala. Now, chaat masala is, I guess, the Indian equivalent of a dry salad dressing. So really bright, really zingy, lots of black salt as well to really give it some umami and richness in mouthfeel. We take a little ring cutter just to make sure we don't lose the shape. Put that inside. And then taking all of the trim from the pine berries, we have a little gel, so made with pine berries, a little bit of blood orange, which is just at the end of the season, some Indian lemons, and some roasted cumin as well. And we're just going to drop a few drops inside and around the dish. I think it's quite nice to have some slightly bigger pops of flavour, so you get a little bit more acidity, a bit more brightness at some times, and then in other mouthfuls maybe a slightly different sensation as well. And finally, I'm just going to take some herbs. So here we have a little bit of purple basil, and as with all the food at BB, we like a lot of herbs. They're not just for garnish, they give a lot of flavour to the dish as well. And while the food is tweezed into place, try and keep a little bit of naturalness to the way that we plate. So some leaves are upside down, some are, in clusters, and just keep it a little bit more as if it's fallen on the plate, rather than the reality, which is that each one's been placed. taking some of that dressing that we had from a little earlier, so the one that we compressed the kohlrabi in. Just going to mix up. So this is, again, a little bit of juiced jalapeno, some Indian lemons, a tiny little bit of grapefruit, again just to give some more complexity to the dish, a little bit of dried seaweed in there as well, and then I'm going to finish that with an oil made from really a mixture of all the herbs we have here in the restaurant and the tops of those kohlrabi as well, just for some sort of peppery brightness as well. So what we really like with a dish like this is a split dressing made with that oil. There we are. And there is our smoked kohlrabi nimbu pani.